I was really interested in research, just being able to explore your own intellectual question that no one's ever answered before, being able to really find the results for yourself and hopefully even just have really cool things come out of it. That's what I really wanted to work in. I really didn't know what informatics was beforehand. I knew I had a little bit of technical skill in the past with coding, and I was really interested in what machine learning and AI can do. I think it was like the hottest topic. I think it still is, definitely. And I love the fact that in seeing these different projects of AI being applied to the healthcare system, I could just see that there was such a tangible, immediate impact. And I think that's what really drew me to biomedical informatics specifically. Was it not only was being able to utilize computer science in building apps or building websites, but it was utilizing computer science to help people. I learned so much about research. I think I was interested in research, but what Columbia really taught me most was the proper procedures of how to do things the right way the first time through, how to get the proper data rights and the data privacy rights and have that figured out, how to properly collect the data and really set out not only a problem that you want to solve, but how to properly scope that problem, how to establish a timeline for a realistic timeline, how to engage in cross-departmental conversations with the nephrology department was my department that I worked with closely, how to have those communications as a researcher to people who aren't in research and how to properly document your experiences starting from the get-go. That's a lot of stuff that I definitely would have just jumped the gun. And I think a lot of new researchers would have. And the fellowship really helped me understand what it meant to be a good researcher, not just someone interested in research. The idea of research and the idea of, I was working with a machine learning project that all seems so scary and so ambiguous in a sense to me when I was just a high school junior or rising senior at the time. And being able to provide that, having that mentorship from Columbia and having them be able to provide their hand out, answer those questions really made me feel a lot more comfortable and confident moving into the space, moving forward. And I think in the past I was so worried of even getting started just because there's so much. How do you even get started? It's the biggest question is like, how do you break in? And that's exactly what this fellowship did for me. It made me realize that even though something I've never experienced in the past doesn't mean that it isn't easily conquerable. I just need to take it in more small, digestible formats. And the fellowship was an amazing experience to get that. Everyone in DBMI was so open. It was I walked into research thinking that each lab was just in itself. One lab, that they might even be physically separated. And to find that one, everyone shares the same physical space, and two, everyone shares the same environment in a sense of how open they are with communicating with one another. I talked to the different professors who are working on different projects purely because, hey, I'm interested in this. I don't know anything about cancer research, but tell me more. I want to learn more. They were super open with pulling up their old PowerPoints, explaining to me their research, just be able to see how wide of a background in STEM that people came from and how they could all have a role in bioinformatics. That was what really shifted the way I viewed bioinformatics. This is the future of what healthcare looks like. And every field is involved in it. It isn't just a small niche field. It happens to be an overarching field that requires knowledge from everywhere else. That definitely was the most memorable moment, I think, being able to really interact with those types of minds. I'm right now a second year in college. I definitely want to continue going down the research path. I've already applied for a few undergraduate research fellowships. I think it was this first initial introduction that really gave me a view as to the wide breadth that informatics and what computer science can really have, but specifically in helping out people. And I think in setting those early foundations and that early experience, I already got a significant leg up on a lot of my other peers and just other people and applicants when it comes to things like research fellowship opportunities in the future, or just even opportunities to work in labs. People being able to see not only a name like, Columbia's name, a very accredited name and very well-known name in the research community, but also having had that experience early on, I didn't have to wait until sophomore or junior year to start applying to these undergraduate research things that usually are restricted just because freshmen tend to not have that experience. I was already being reached out to by professors my freshman year to work in their labs. Doors already opening for me. And a lot of that was just because of the background expertise that Columbia and the credibility that Columbia was able to provide me.